The clink of metal against metal makes me flinch, and for a heartbeat, the whole casino feels like it's holding its breath. The lights sweep across the slot machines in dizzying rainbows, and the faint smell of coffee and waxed floors fills the air. I press the button again, and suddenly gold flashes across the screen, coins spilling into the tray. My heart leaps, and then the pit boss's hand slams down, lowering the cage with a steel finality. Shock pins me in place. I feel Henry's hand tight around mine, steady and calm, but I can sense the weight of what just happened. This is more than just lost money. From across the room, a quiet voice reaches me. Elise, a young casino attendant with sharp eyes and an unusual calm, doesn't lecture or push. She watches, takes notes, and listens in a way that makes me think. Maybe someone actually sees what's happening. Somehow, her presence makes the impossibility feel slightly less heavy, the spark of hope tiny, but real. Have you ever faced something so unfair that it made you question everything you thought you knew about the world? Stay with me to see how Henry and I, two ordinary people often underestimated, find courage, trust, and an unexpected ally, and how one spin of a machine can start a journey that changes everything. The kitchen table was buried under a month's worth of paper, utility bills, credit card statements, a final notice from the dentist. I pushed aside an envelope from the water company and reached for my coffee, already lukewarm. Through the doorway to the living room, I could hear Henry muttering to himself, a steady soundtrack I'd grown familiar with over 53 years of marriage. "Things wobbling like a drunk sailor," he said. I smiled despite myself. "Maybe leave it alone for once." "Can't sit in a broken chair, Margaret." That was Henry, always fixing something. The man couldn't pass a loose screw without tightening it. I went back to the bills, sorting them into piles. Urgent, can wait, ignore until they threaten to shut something off. The numbers blurred together after a while. Same amounts, different months. Our checking account had enough to cover everything, barely. But there was never anything left over. Never a surprise, never a cushion. My daughter Lisa had called 3 weeks ago. Before that, it had been 2 months. She'd asked how we were doing in that breezy tone that meant she wasn't really listening, then spent 20 minutes complaining about her boss and her son's soccer schedule. I'd offered to come visit, help with the kids, but she'd said, "Oh, Mum, you don't need to do that," in a way that felt more like a wall than kindness. Our son Jeffrey lived in Oregon now. Christmas cards, that was about it. "You remember when the kids used to fight over who got to sit in this chair?" Henry's voice drifted in from the other room. I did. Lisa claimed it was hers because she was oldest. Jeffrey said that was exactly why he should get it. He needed protecting from her. They'd bickered over everything back then, filling the house with noise and life. Now the silence pressed in like fog. "I remember," I called back. Henry appeared in the doorway, chair leg in one hand, wood glue in the other. His reading glasses sat crooked on his nose. "Found the problem. Whole joints come loose. Give me 10 minutes. I nodded and returned to the bills. A bright yellow flyer slipped out from between 2 envelopes, must have been mixed in with the junk mail. River's Edge Casino and Resort. Try your luck. New member bonus. $25. Free play. The paper was glossy, expensive looking. A photo showed rows of slot machines glowing like Christmas lights, people laughing with drinks in their hands. I'd driven past that place 100 times. It sat just off the highway, about 20 minutes away, and I'd never once thought about going inside. Gambling seemed like something other people did, younger people, reckless people, people with money to throw away. But God, Didn't it look exciting? Henry came back through, testing the chair's stability with both hands. There, good as new. He noticed me staring at the flyer. What's that? Nothing, just junk mail. He leaned over my shoulder, squinting. Casino, huh? You thinking of running off to Vegas without me? It's local, I said. 20 minutes. Still counts as running off. I looked at the flyer again, at those bright machines and smiling faces. When was the last time we'd done something just because? When had we last walked into a room we'd never seen before? Tried something that wasn't part of the routine? I couldn't remember. What if we went? The words came out before I could stop them. Henry raised an eyebrow. To the casino? Why not? He stared at me like I'd suggested skydiving. Margaret, we don't gamble. We don't do anything. That landed hard. Henry set down the wood glue and sat across from me, expression shifting from amused to thoughtful. You're serious, he said. Maybe, I smoothed the flyer. When's the last time we surprised ourselves? He considered, then picked up the flyer. $25 free. Technically not our money. Technically. Just down the highway. 20 minutes. He looked at me over his crooked glasses. You really want to do this? I did. That glossy photo made my chest feel less tight. Don't you ever get tired of the routine? Every damn day. He smiled. All right, let's go lose some money. 3 days later, we pulled into the casino lot. Henry had even ironed a shirt. I knew he was serious. The building was massive, glass and steel, fountains probably costing more than our water bill. The lot filled with regular sedans and SUVs. That helped. Ready? Henry asked. I nodded, uncertain. The noise hit immediately. Bells, chimes, electronic music blending into chaos, flashing lights, every color pulsing. I grabbed Henry's arm. Holy hell, he muttered. We stood frozen while people moved past with purpose. The swirled carpet hurt my eyes. A woman's laugh pierced the air. Maybe this was a bad idea, I said. Henry squeezed my hand. We're already here. Most people played alone, hunched over machines, expressions ranging from bored to desperate. A man fed bills without looking up. A woman pressed buttons mechanically. Not exactly the party they advertised, Henry whispered. A worker approached, slight woman, maybe 30, name tag reading a lease. First time here? My face heated. That obvious? Only a little? Can I help? Henry showed the flyer. Says we get $25 free? Players Club is right there. She gestured toward a desk. I can walk you through it. She didn't condescend, didn't make us feel stupid. We filled forms, took photos, oddly official, like joining a secret club. How do these work? Henry asked, nodding at the machines. Elise led us to quieter penny slots. Put in your card, add cash, press the button. Each spin costs whatever you bet. Cents to dollars. She demonstrated, movements patient. I watched reels spin, symbols appearing and vanishing. Simple, but the speed unnerved me. What if you win? I asked. Small wins add to credit. Over 1,200 needs tax forms. Jackpots are rare, but they happen. She left. We stood surrounded by machines, that flutter in my chest again. Not excitement, not quite fear. Then I saw it. 3 machines down, tucked between gaudy games, simpler, elegant. Deep blue background, silver stars, midnight fortune. I moved toward it without planning. Something felt right, quieter, like it was waiting. Henry followed. This one? Maybe. He looked at the machine, then me. The calculation in his eyes. How much could we lose? What were we doing? Margaret, he said slowly, we don't have to do this. But I was already sitting down, sliding my card into the slot. I fed a 20 into the machine. Numbers climbed on screen. 20 pounds. Start small, Jade, Henry advised. I pressed the button for minimum bet. 50 cents. The reels spun, blur of stars and moons, then stopped. Nothing. See, Henry said. Easy come, easy go. But I pressed again, and again. The rhythm was hypnotic. Sometimes small wins added credits back. Mostly they didn't. After 10 minutes, I was down to 8,050 cents. Maybe try a different machine, Henry suggested. One more. I don't know why I increased the bet to $5. Impulse, frustration, that same restlessness that brought us here. My finger hovered over the button. Then I pressed it. The reels spun faster than before. They stopped one by one. Click, click, click. Each landing on a golden star, all 5 in a row. The machine exploded. Lights flashed everywhere. Blue, white, gold, blinding. Sound blared. Not the usual jingle, but a symphony of bells and sirens. Numbers rolled upward on screen so fast I couldn't read them. Margaret? Henry's voice sounded far away. The tray began filling, not coins exactly, tokens, spilling, over the edge, clattering onto the floor. The screen kept climbing. $50,000, $75,000, $100,000. It stopped at £127,050. I couldn't breathe. The numbers sat there, enormous, impossible. People surrounded us, strangers pointing, shouting congratulations. Someone clapped my shoulder. Henry stood frozen, mouth open. Did I couldn't finish. You hit it, a man said. You actually hit the jackpot. The noise intensified. More people crowding in, phones out, recording. I felt small in the chair, overwhelmed, like I'd done something wrong instead of lucky. A woman in a crisp uniform pushed through. Congratulations, ma'am. Don't touch anything. We'll process. Hold on. A man's voice, sharp and authoritative. The crowd parted. Tall man, probably 60, silver hair, suit too expensive for the floor. Name tag, Vincent Chen, pit manager. He didn't smile. Step back, please, he told the crowd, then examined the machine. His expression stayed neutral, professional, but something in his eyes made my stomach drop. There's a problem, he said. What problem? Henry stepped closer. She won. The machine flagged an error. Vincent pulled out a phone, tapped rapidly. Until we verify, nothing pays out. Verify what? My voice came out small. Technical malfunction. Sometimes machines display incorrect amounts. He looked at me, not unkind, but firm. It happens. The hell it does, Henry said. Look at it. It's still showing the win. Vincent pressed a button on the side of the machine. A metal cage descended from above, covering the screen and tray. Tokens stopped spilling. The lights dimmed. The crowd murmured, disappointed. What are you doing? I stood, unsteady. That's mine. Mum, I understand you're upset, but until surveillance reviews the footage and our tech team inspects the machine, we can't release funds. His tone was practiced, final. Policy. How long? Henry demanded. Could be a few days. We'll contact you. Days? Heat flooded my face. You can't just... I can and I am. Vincent gestured to security. 2 younger men materialized beside him. You're welcome to file a complaint with guest services, but this machine is out of play until further notice. People were staring, not celebrating anymore, watching us like we'd tried to cheat. I felt exposed, humiliated, like a child caught lying. Come on, Margaret. Henry took my arm, gentle but insistent. No, this isn't now. His grip tightened. We walked through the crowd. No one met my eyes. The casino noise returned to normal, swallowing our moment. By the time we reached the doors, it was like nothing had happened. Outside, the cold air hit hard. I shook, rage and confusion warring in my chest. They can't do that, I said. They just did. We're going back. Henry turned me to face him. Not tonight. We go back calm, prepared. Henry, that money is yours. His voice was steel. And we're going to get it. We made it as far as the parking lot before I had to stop. My hands wouldn't steady. Henry guided me to a bench near the entrance, under a street lamp that hummed and flickered. Breathe, he said. I tried. The air felt thick. Wrong. They stole from me. I know. In front of everyone. I know. He rubbed my back in slow circles, the way he used to when the kids had nightmares. But we're not done. Footsteps approached. I looked up, ready to tell whoever it was to leave us alone. It was the young woman from earlier, Elise. Still in her uniform, black vest, white shirt, name tag reflecting the lamplight. She stopped a few feet away, hesitant. I'm sorry, she said. I shouldn't bother you, but we're fine, Henry said, not unkindly. You're not. Elise glanced back toward the casino, then stepped closer. What Vincent did in there, it wasn't right. I studied her. Mid-20s maybe, dark hair pulled back tight, tired eyes. She looked like someone who worked too many shifts and slept too little. Why was she here? Can't change it now, I said. Maybe you can. She sat down on the bench beside us, uninvited but somehow not intrusive. I've worked here 2 years. I've seen machines malfunction. They freeze, go dark, display zeros. Yours didn't do any of that. It ran clean. You saw it? Henry asked. I was 3 rows over. I heard the alarm, saw the crowd. Elise pulled a small notepad from her pocket, flipped it open. The machine was a Star Cascade Deluxe, row E, position 12. It cycled normally before you hit. No error codes, no warning lights. Why does that matter? I asked. Because if they claim malfunction, they have to prove it. Security footage, machine logs, tech reports. She looked at me directly. You can challenge it. You should challenge it. They won't listen to us, Henry said. We're just customers. You have rights. Elise tapped her pen against the notepad. Guest services has to file formal complaints. If you document everything, timestamps, witnesses, your player card activity, they can't just bury it. I wanted to believe her, but this felt too convenient, too much like someone offering help with strings attached. Why do you care? She was quiet for a moment. A car pulled past, headlights sweeping over us. My mum used to come here, Elise said finally. Every Friday after her shift at the hospital. Quarter slots, nothing big. She won $2,000 once, small jackpot, nothing like yours. They paid her immediately, no questions. She closed the notepad. 6 months ago, she had a stroke. My brother and I fought over who'd take care of her. Ugly fight. He wanted a home. I wanted to bring her to my place. We stopped speaking. "I'm sorry," I said, and meant it. She died in the home. Elise's voice didn't waver, but her hands did. I never got to tell her I was wrong, that I should have just shown up more. Henry shifted beside me. I knew that particular silence, the one that meant he was thinking about our own kids, scattered across 3 states, too busy for Sunday calls. "So when I see someone get cheated," Elise continued, "especially someone who came here for a good time, who played fair, I can't just walk away." "What would you want us to do?" I asked. "Start with receipts. Your player card tracked every transaction tonight. Get a printout from guest services tomorrow. Then we find people who saw the win, other players, dealers on break. I can ask around quietly." She met my eyes. "And we request the machine's maintenance log. They have to provide it if you file officially." "That's a lot of paperwork," Henry said. "It is." Elise stood. "But it's also evidence. And evidence is the only thing they can't ignore." She handed me the notepad page. On it, she'd written, "Star Cascade Deluxe, row E12, approx. 8:47 p.m., $127,450 jackpot. Vincent Chen intervened." "You were paying attention," I said. "Always." A small smile. "I work tomorrow, day shift. If you come back, find me. We'll start building your case." She walked back toward the casino, hands in pockets, shoulders squared like someone used to walking alone. Henry looked at the note, then at me. "What do you think?" "I think she's either genuine or the world's best con artist." "My money's on genuine." "Mine too." I folded the paper carefully. "Let's go home. We've got work to do." The house felt different when we got home. Same furniture, same creaky floorboard, same refrigerator hum. But something had shifted. Henry made tea while I stared at Elise's note. The numbers looked smaller on paper than on screen, yet the humiliation burned just as hot. "We should call the kids," Henry said. "And say what? Rachel would lecture us. Tom wouldn't answer. And Lisa..." I trailed off. "Lisa would ask if we'd checked our medication lately." That stung, because it was true. After Henry forgot to turn off the stove twice during pneumonia recovery, our youngest stopped trusting our judgment. Some mistakes become permanent labels. "Let's wait," I said, "until we know more." The phone rang next morning. Unknown number. "Mrs. Chen, I hope I'm not calling too early." Elise's voice, clear and professional. "We're up. I wanted to walk you through documentation before my shift starts. Did you keep your parking receipt?" "Yes." "Why?" "Timestamp proves when you arrived and left. Everything counts." She paused. "Can you get to the casino today? Guest services is quieter weekday mornings." Henry appeared, eyebrows raised. I mouthed, "Elise." "We can be there by 10, he said on the extension. "Perfect. Request your player card activity report, full transaction history, and photograph the Star Cascade machine, row E12, serial number, screen, everything." "They'll let us?" I asked. "You're a customer. If anyone asks, you're documenting for a review, not technically a lie." That made me smile. Over the next week, Elise called daily, sometimes twice. She guided us through incident reports, timeline comparisons, even suggested we measure the exact distance from our seats to where the pit boss had intervened. Details matter, she said. The more specific you are, the harder to dismiss. On Wednesday, while Henry photographed the machine, now roped off, marked out of order, I told Elise about teaching 6th grade for 32 years. I learned early that quiet students often had the most to say. You just had to create space. Sounds like good training for this. Strange. I spent decades advocating for 12-year-olds, but never for myself. You're learning now. That night, we sat at the kitchen table with everything spread out. Receipts, photos, notes, Elise's timeline. We've built something real here, I said. Henry studied the papers. Remember when you fought the school board over library budget cuts? 3 months researching funding formulas, a 16-page proposal. They restored the full budget. I'd forgotten. You were terrifying, in the best way. He picked up an incident report. You're doing it again. The phone rang. Elise. I have news, she said, something new in her voice. The casino filed your formal complaint this afternoon. Guest services confirmed it's been forwarded to their legal review team. What does that mean? They're taking you seriously. They have to respond within 14 business days. Papers rustled. It's not a guarantee, but it's movement. Real movement. After we hung up, I looked at Henry across our makeshift war room. Bills still needed paying. The chair still wobbled, our children still kept distance, but we'd refused to be dismissed. The cage doesn't feel quite so heavy anymore, I said. Henry squeezed my hand. No, it doesn't. For the first time since that machine died, I let myself believe we might actually win this. The casino looked different at 2 in the afternoon. Half the lights dimmed, fewer people, the whole place breathing slower. Elise met us by guest services, clipboard in hand. Ready? She asked. I nodded, though my stomach twisted. Henry carried our folder, thick now, organized with color-coded tabs. When had we become people who color-coded things? The guest services manager, a woman named Patricia with sharp eyes and sharper posture, led us to a back office. The pit boss was already there. His name was Dennis Chen. No relation, though I'd wondered that first night. He sat with arms crossed, jaw set. This is highly irregular, he said, before we'd even settled into chairs. Mrs. Chen has the right to review records pertaining to her player account, Elise said smoothly. Casino policy, Section 4.3. Patricia opened a laptop. The incident occurred on the Star Cascade machine, row E12, correct? Yes, I said. And you're claiming the jackpot was legitimate? I'm not claiming. It was legitimate. The words came out stronger than I'd planned. Henry glanced at me, eyebrows raised slightly. Pride, maybe. Or surprise. Dennis leaned forward. The machine flagged an error code. Standard protocol requires inspection before payout. What error code? Elise asked. I'd have to check. We can wait. He didn't move. It's in the system. Then let's pull it up, Henry said quietly. Patricia typed something, frowned, typed again. There's a discrepancy, she said slowly. The error log shows code E47 at 9:14 p.m., but the jackpot timestamp is 9:11. So the error came after, I said. Dennis shifted. Not necessarily. Timestamps can be off. By 3 minutes, Elise made a note. That seems unlikely for a digital system. Look, I don't have time for this. Dennis stood. The machine malfunctioned, that's final. Actually, Patricia said, still staring at the screen. Code E47 is a door ajar sensor, not a payout mechanism error. The room went quiet. Someone opened the machine cabinet, Elise said, after the jackpot hit. Dennis's jaw tightened. Routine inspection. At 9:14 p.m.? I asked. Right after you shut it down? I don't know where that came from. The precision, the challenge in my voice. Maybe 32 years of catching students in half-truths. Maybe just being tired of feeling small. Dennis stared at me. Are you accusing me of something? I'm asking questions. Isn't that allowed? Henry touched my knee under the table. Not warning. Support. Patricia printed something. I'll need to escalate this to our compliance team. Wonderful, Dennis muttered. More bureaucracy. Mrs. Chen is entitled to a thorough review, Elise said, especially given the inconsistencies. We left with copies of the error log, the timestamp report, and a follow-up appointment scheduled for the next week. Small victories, but they felt enormous. In the parking lot, Elise exhaled hard. You were amazing in there. Was I rude? You were clear. There's a difference. She checked her phone. I have to get back, but this is good. Really good. After she left, Henry and I sat in the car, not starting the engine. That thing you said about asking questions, he said. When did you get so fierce? I spent decades advocating for kids who couldn't advocate for themselves. Maybe it's time I learned to do it for us. He smiled. I like this version of you. Don't get used to it. I'm still terrified. Good. Keeps you sharp. We drove home in comfortable silence, the folder on my lap feeling heavier with possibility. The cage was still there, still real, but we'd found cracks. And cracks, I was learning, were where light got in. The doorbell rang at 7:30, too early for neighbors. I knew before I opened it. Mom, Julie stood on the porch, arms crossed. Behind her, Daniel leaned against his rental car. This is a surprise, I said. Henry appeared from the kitchen, dish towel over his shoulder. Kids? Dad. Julie kissed his cheek without warmth. We need to talk. Aunt Linda called, said you're suing a casino. We're trying to collect legitimate winnings, I said, with some 20-something girl you just met. Daniel picked up our folder from the Chet's coffee table. Who is this Elise person? A friend. You don't have friends named Elise. Julie's voice sharpened. You barely use email. Now you're suddenly fighting casinos with color-coded evidence. Elise works there, Henry said. She's helping us navigate the process. For free? Daniel asked. Out of the goodness of her heart? Yes. Julie leaned forward. Think about this. A young woman with access to your information, encouraging you to fight a battle you can't win. What does she really want? My chest tightened. She wants to help. People don't help strangers for nothing, Daniel said. Especially not when there's money involved. I'm not. I'm worried. Julie's expression softened. You've been through a lot. You're lonely. But this Elise, she's taking advantage. The words hit harder than they should have. Because wasn't that exactly what I'd thought that first day? She's been nothing but honest, Henry said. How do you know? Daniel asked. Where she lives, her last name, whether she's done this before. I opened my mouth, closed it. We didn't know her address. The doorbell rang again. Elise's voice drifted from the entryway. I'm sorry to come by unannounced, but I found something. She stopped, taking in the scene. You must be the kids, Elise said quietly. We are. Julie stood. And you must be Elise. Perfect timing, Daniel said. We were just talking about you. Elise glanced at me, then Henry. I can come back, she said. No. The word surprised me. Stay. If you want to talk about Elise, she should be here. Elise perched on the chair arm nearest the door, like she might need to leave quickly. What's your angle here? Julie asked. My angle? What do you get out of helping my parents? Nothing. Everyone wants something. Not money. Elise's voice stayed level. Your parents deserve their winnings. I'm helping fix it. You expect us to believe that? I expect you to believe your parents' judgment. Elise looked at me. They're smart, capable people who know when they're being lied to. This isn't about their judgment. It sounds like it is. Elise stood. You're here because you think they can't tell help from manipulation. That's exactly what the casino thinks, too. The room went quiet. That's not fair, Julie said. Isn't it? Your mum stood up to a pit boss yesterday, found inconsistencies in official records, but you're telling her she's too naive to spot a con artist. We're protecting them, Daniel said. From what? Justice? My throat tightened, because that's what this was, wasn't it? About being seen as competent, as worthy of respect, as people who could still fight. Elise, I said quietly, what did you find? She hesitated. It's okay, Henry said. Tell us. Elise pulled a printout from her bag. The machine's maintenance log. Someone accessed the payout mechanism manually at 9:13 p.m. before the error code triggered. Meaning? Julie asked. Someone opened the machine while it was processing the jackpot against protocol. It could invalidate the error claim entirely. Could? Daniel frowned. Casino regulations are complicated, but this is leverage. She handed me the printout. Our fingers brushed, and I saw it again. That careful distance she maintained, like she'd learned not to expect trust. Thank you, I said. Julie watched us. And when they win, what happens then? Then they get what's theirs, Elise said simply, and I go back to my regular job. That's it? That's it. My daughter looked at me. Mum, do you really believe her? Did I? The question sat heavy, because belief wasn't about evidence. It was about the way Elise remembered Henry's coffee order, the late-night research she did unprompted, the careful way she never made us feel small. Yes, I said. I do. After my kids left, the house felt hollow. They meant well, Henry said. They looked at me like I'd lost my mind. They'll come around. Will they? My phone buzzed. Elise. Found 3 more overturned cases. All had detailed logs. Want to start one? Yes. Tomorrow? I'll bring coffee. Elise arrived with a notebook, pens, and decaf. Color coding, she explained. Blue for staff conversations, red for official communications, green for witness observations. You've done this before, Henry said. I watch documentaries, and I hate when people get away with things. We documented everything. Elise walked us through structuring entries, clear, factual, unemotional. March 14th, 7:42 p.m. Pit boss. Derek Thompson claimed machine error code 47B did not provide timestamp or explain manual access at 9:13 p.m. Now add what you observed, Elise said. I wrote, "Wouldn't meet my eyes," kept checking his watch. Henry added notes about the crowd, the uncomfortable security guard, the waitress who'd whispered about it happening before. "This is tedious," Henry said. "Casinos count on people giving up," Elise replied. "Is it worth it?" I asked. "Do you think it is?" She tapped her pen. "My family said I cared too much about fairness. Every time I let things go, I regretted it." "So you stopped letting go," Henry said. "I tried. But yeah, fighting for what's right is worth it, even when it's tedious." You know that feeling when something clicks into place? Not dramatically, just quietly settling into rightness. 3 people documenting injustice, one careful line at a time. Over the next week, logging became routine. Elise stopped by most evenings. We compared notes, cross-referenced statements, highlighted inconsistencies. She taught us to photograph everything: receipts, machine numbers, floor layouts. Context matters. If they claim isolation, we need proof. Henry sketched the floor plan. I added witness notes. Our case file grew, but so did something else. The ease between us. Elise arriving early, helping Henry fix drawers, sharing bakery finds. Small rituals unrelated to the casino. "My daughter thinks you're after our money," I said one interturn night. Elise paused. "Do you?" "No." "Why not?" "Because you could have walked away. Because you care about details that wouldn't matter if you just wanted money. Because you look at us like we're people, not problems." Her pen stilled. "You are people. Not everyone sees it that way. Then they're not looking hard enough." We worked in comfortable silence. Around 9, Henry yawned. "My handwriting's getting sloppy." Elise gathered her materials. "Same time tomorrow?" "Unless you're sick of us." "Not even close. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for earning it." After she left, Henry said, "She's good for us." "Yeah. The kids won't see it. They don't have to. This isn't about them." I stacked our notebooks. Documentation feels a lot like teaching, breaking big problems into manageable steps. You miss teaching? Sometimes. But this feels important too. We weren't just logging evidence. We were reclaiming our voices, proving we still mattered, that we could still fight. The first comment appeared Tuesday morning. Scrolling through my phone, a notification popped up. Someone tagged me in a local Facebook group. Elderly couple denied casino winnings. Typical corporate greed. My stomach dropped. "Henry?" I showed him. He scrolled, frowned. "How did they—" By noon, 200 shares. By evening, a local news blog. Senior citizens fight casino giant over disputed jackpot. "They got our names," I said. "Photos." "I didn't want this. I just wanted what was fair." Elise called. "I'm coming over." She arrived with printouts. The casino released a statement. Henry read it aloud. "Golden Valley Casino values transparency. Recent claims are under investigation. We caution against unverified accusations that may constitute defamation. Our legal team is prepared to protect our reputation." "They're threatening us," I whispered. "They're posturing," Elise said. "But every word matters now." "I didn't ask for this attention." "I know. But we use it, or it uses us." She spread papers across our table. I drafted responses. Short, precise. "We are working cooperatively with authorities. We have documented evidence and remain committed to transparency." "That's it?" Henry asked. "Anything more gives them ammunition." They want you angry, defensive, giving interviews where you slip up. I reread the statement. Bland, careful. It doesn't feel like me. Good. Because right now, you're a case. Every word matters. Do you know how exhausting it is, measuring every syllable? That night, I couldn't sleep. Worst-case scenarios spun through my mind. Margaret. Henry's hand found mine. Breathe. What if we're making it worse? We're standing up for ourselves. But doubt is louder at 3 a.m. by Thursday. Reporters called. Strangers commented online. Old people always looking for handouts. Probably trying to scam the casino. I stopped reading. Henry didn't. Idiots, he muttered. Don't engage. I closed his laptop. Elise said no emotional responses. Someone has to. Not you. He paced. So we just take it. We document. We stay focused. We win the right way. The right way feels like swallowing shit. I almost laughed. Henry rarely swore. Yeah, it does. Elise called that evening. 3 witnesses came forward, and I found another case, similar circumstances, resolved in the player's favor. How long? 8 months. My heart had sank. But they didn't have documentation like ours, or public attention. The casino wants this quiet. If we stay credible, time's on our side. What do we do next? Keep logging, keep cooperating. Let me handle communication. You focus on being steady. After we hung up, Henry said, She's right. We're stronger than we think. Are we? We've made it this far. He pulled me close. Standing in our kitchen, where we'd raised kids, celebrated anniversaries, weathered losses, I felt something shift. Not confidence exactly, but resolve. We weren't backing down. The certified letter arrived Friday afternoon. I recognized the law firm's name, the same one listed on the casino's corporate website. My hands shook as I tore open the envelope. Henry read over my shoulder. Notice of intention to pursue forfeiture and legal action. They're taking it, I whispered. All of it. Unless we agree to binding arbitration within 72 hours. Henry's voice was flat, with an arbitrator of their choosing. The next paragraph made it worse. Continued public statements may constitute harassment and defamation. We reserve all rights to seek damages. I sank into a chair. They're threatening to sue us. For what? Telling the truth? For embarrassing them? The phone rang. Our daughter, Claire. Mum, what the hell is going on? Amanda just sent me a screenshot. You're all over Facebook. We're handling it. By fighting a casino? Are you insane? Henry took the phone. Claire, Dad, listen to me. Sign whatever they want. Walk away. You're 78 years old. You don't need this stress. We won that money fairly, and now they're threatening to sue you. For what? 20,000? 30? Is it worth losing the house? I grabbed the phone back. It's not about the money. Then what is it about? Pride? Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like you're being manipulated by some casino employee who, Elise has been nothing but helpful. Elise. Claire's voice dripped scorn. You've known her what? 2 weeks? And now you're risking everything because she says so? We're making our own decisions. Bad ones. She paused. Amanda and I talked. If you keep this up, we're not helping when it falls apart. You're on your own. The line went dead. I stood there, phone in hand, feeling like I'd been slapped. "She doesn't understand," Henry said quietly. "She thinks we're fools." "Maybe we are." I looked at him sharply. He held up the letter. "Arbitration means giving up our right to appeal. It means their person decides. But if we fight, they take everything and maybe come after more." "So we cave?" "I don't know." His voice cracked. "I don't know anymore." Elise arrived an hour later. One look at our faces, and she knew. They sent the forfeiture notice. I handed it over. She read carefully, lips pressed tight. "And there's more," I said. "Claire called. Our kids want us to quit. They think we're being manipulated." "By me?" "Yes." She set the letter down. "Are you?" "What?" "Being manipulated. Do you trust me, or are they right?" The question hung between us. I thought about the late-night calls, the research, the way she'd listened when Henry talked about his engineering days, the way she remembered my coffee order, the careful notes she kept. "I trust you," I said. "Me too," Henry added. Elise nodded slowly. "Then you need to know. I'm being reassigned. Monday morning. Different shift. Different floor. They're separating me from you." My chest tightened. "Can they do that?" "I'm hourly. They can do whatever they want." She met my eyes. "But I'm not going anywhere. I'll help on my own time. Off the clock." "You could lose your job." "I know." "Why risk it?" She was quiet a moment. "Because you're fighting for something that matters. And because..." Her voice softened. "I don't have family anymore. Not really. But helping you feels like the closest I've had in years." Henry cleared his throat. "So what do we do?" Elise pulled out her laptop. "We have 72 hours. We document everything, every interaction, every threat, every inconsistency. We contact the State Gaming Commission directly, and we decide if we're willing to go public in a bigger way." "How big?" "Investigative journalism, consumer advocacy groups. Make this about pattern, not just your case." "That'll make them angrier," I said. "It'll make them careful." She looked between us. "But I won't lie. This gets harder before it gets easier. You might lose more than money." I thought about Claire's voice, Amanda's silence, the possibility of legal bills, public shame, endless stress. Then I thought about that pit boss's smug face, the cage coming down, the way they'd treated us like confused old people who didn't matter. "I'm not signing," I said. Henry took my hand. "Neither am I." Elise smiled, small, fierce. "Then let's get to work." The casino parking lot felt different at 7 a.m. Quiet, almost peaceful. Henry and I watched early shift workers arrive. Elise had given us names, witnesses who might talk if asked right. "Ready?" Henry asked. I nodded, stomach twisting. We'd never done this. Approaching strangers, building a case. We'd just hit a slot machine. But that pit boss made it more. Ramon, a janitor who'd mopped near my machine, was first. We found him emptying bins. "Ramon," I said. "I'm Margaret. We were hoping you might remember the jackpot lady." Recognition flickered. "I remember." "Would you write down what you saw?" His jaw tightened. "I got 3 kids and rent due Friday. Can't afford to lose this job." "We're not asking you to testify. They'll know it came from me." He grabbed his trash bag. "I'm sorry." He walked away. "One down," Henry said. "Let's try the next." Linda, our cocktail waitress, listened during her smoke break. I saw Tony practically run over before the machine finished. "Would you write that down?" She took a drag. "You know he's related to the regional manager?" My heart sank. "No. I've worked here 11 years, seen people blacklisted for less." She stubbed out her cigarette. "Give me your number. Let me think." Not yes, but not another door slammed. By lunch, we'd talked to 6 people. 4 refused outright. 1 security guard said maybe. Linda was thinking. "This is harder than I thought," I said. My phone buzzed. Elise. "How's it going?" "Slow. Most won't risk it." "Figured. But I have good news. Consumer advocate Rachel Torres works with the Attorney General on elder fraud. She'll meet this afternoon." I looked at Henry. He nodded. "We'll be there." Rachel Torres, sharp-eyed, maybe 40, ordered tea and got straight to business. "Elise sent your documentation. It's thorough." She flipped through printouts. Machine records, timestamps, photos, solid foundation. "But," I asked, "without witnesses, it's your word against theirs. They have legal teams for this." "We're trying," Henry said. "Not going well." Rachel leaned forward. "I can file a formal complaint with the Gaming Commission, request an independent audit of that machine and Tony Ritchie's history." "What does that mean?" "External pressure? Regulatory compliance, not just payout. They hate audits." "Will it get our money back?" "Improves odds significantly." She met my eyes. "But this takes months, maybe longer. No guarantee." Henry and I exchanged looks. Months, more stress. But also a real path forward. Professional advocacy. Proof we weren't just tilting at windmills. "Do it," I said. Rachel smiled. "I need authorization forms. Keep documenting everything. Calls, interactions, threats." "We can." "Good." She pulled out paperwork. "Let's make this official." Signing my name, I felt something shift. We weren't just reacting. We were taking control. Fighting smart, not scared. For the first time since that cage came down, I felt like we might actually win. The conference room was deliberately cold. Henry and I sat facing 3 people across a polished table. Tony Ritchie, the pit boss, a woman in a navy suit who introduced herself as Karen Walsh, casino legal counsel, and Dennis Shaw, operations manager. Elise sat beside us, her notebook open, pen ready. Rachel Torres anchored our other side, calm and professional in grey. "Thank you for meeting," Dennis began. "We take all patron concerns seriously." I didn't believe him. His tone said, "Let's get this over with." "We appreciate the opportunity," Rachel said smoothly. "My clients have documented significant evidence regarding the January 15th jackpot incident." Karen opened a leather portfolio. "We've reviewed the machine logs. Technical malfunction invalidated the payout per Section 4.7 of our gaming regulations." "Which regulations specifically?" Rachel asked. Karen blinked. "Excuse me?" "Section 4.7 covers multiple scenarios. Which subsection applies?" A pause. Karen flipped pages. Tony leaned forward. "The machine malfunctioned. That's all patrons need to know." "Actually," I said, voice steadier than I felt, "we need documentation." Everyone looked at me. My hands trembled slightly, so I pressed them flat on the table. "We've kept receipts, timestamps, photos. Machine 47B showed no error codes when I won, no warnings. The payout display was clear." I slid our folder across the table. Karen picked it up, scanning quickly. "This is quite detailed," she admitted. "My wife taught elementary school for 32 years, Henry said. Documentation's second nature." Tony's jaw tightened. "Machine malfunctions aren't always visible to players." "True," Rachel said, "which is why we're requesting the full diagnostic report from that day, plus maintenance records for the previous 6 months. "That's proprietary information," Karen said, "not under Gaming Commission audit protocols." Rachel's smile didn't reach her eyes. "Which we've formally requested." Dennis shifted. "An audit seems excessive. For a $78,000 dispute?" Rachel raised an eyebrow. "The commission disagrees." The room went quiet. 78,000. Hearing the number aloud still made my chest tight. "We also have witness accounts," Elise said softly. Tony shot her a look. "From who?" "Linda Martinez, cocktail server. She saw you arrive at the machine before the error message appeared. I responded to the alert. Machine logs show the alert posted 4 seconds after you reached the console," Rachel interrupted. "Not before." Karen and Dennis exchanged glances. "That doesn't prove. It establishes timeline inconsistency," Rachel said. "Combined with Mrs. Parker's documentation and the lack of prior malfunction reports on that machine, it raises reasonable doubt about your technical error claim." Henry leaned forward. "We're not asking for special treatment, just fairness." His voice carried weight. Decades of engineering credibility, the kind of steady authority that couldn't be dismissed. "We played by your rules, registered our card, used our own money, hit a legitimate jackpot. Then you changed the rules after the fact." "The machine malfunctioned," Tony repeated, but his conviction wavered. "Then prove it," I said. "Show us the error codes, the diagnostic report, maintenance history." "Or admit," Henry added quietly, "that you're denying a payout because it's easier than honoring it." Dennis's expression hardened. "We don't operate that way." "Then operate transparently," Rachel said. "Provide the documentation we've requested, or explain to the Gaming Commission why you won't." Karen closed her portfolio. "We'll need to consult with our technical team." "Of course," Rachel said. "We'll await your response, in writing, please." The meeting ended without resolution, but something had shifted. We'd faced them, presented evidence, demanded accountability. Walking out, Henry took my hand. "You were brilliant," he murmured. "We were," I corrected. Elise smiled. "They weren't expecting you to be this prepared." "No," Rachel agreed. "They definitely weren't." The letter arrived on a Tuesday morning, stamped with the Nevada Gaming Control Board seal. My hands shook as I opened it. Henry stood behind me, one palm warm against my shoulder blade. After thorough review of submitted documentation, witness testimony, and independent machine diagnostics, the board finds insufficient evidence to support the casino's technical malfunction claim. Machine 47B operated within normal parameters on January 15th. The jackpot payout of $78,000 to Margaret Ann Parker is hereby validated and must be honored within 15 business days. I read it twice, then again. "Margaret?" Henry's voice wavered. "We won." The words felt strange in my mouth. They validated our claim. Henry pulled the letter closer, scanning the official language, the regulator's signature, the deadline. Then he laughed, a deep, surprised sound that turned into something closer to a sob. I turned and we held each other in our small kitchen, surrounded by coffee cups and scattered paperwork and the ordinary chaos of our life. "I can't believe it," I whispered against his shoulder. "I can." His grip tightened. "You were relentless." We were relentless, I thought. All of us. Elise called an hour later. "Did you see?" she asked, breathless. "The board posted their decision online. It's official." "We saw." I smiled, wiping my eyes. "Thank you doesn't feel like enough." "You did the work, Margaret. You and Henry. I just helped organize. You believed us when nobody else did." A pause. When Elise spoke again, her voice was thick. "You trusted me back." That afternoon, Rachel Torres stopped by with champagne she insisted we open immediately. "I've handled casino disputes for 12 years, she said, raising her glass. "This is the most thorough documentation package I've ever seen from non-professional clients." Henry grinned. "School teacher training." "And stubborn persistence," I added. Rachel's expression softened. "You showed real courage. A lot of people would have walked away." "We thought about it," I admitted. "More than once." "But you didn't." She clinked her glass against mine. "That matters." Our daughter Sarah called that evening. "Mum, I saw the news." Her tone was careful. "About the gaming board decision." "Yes." I kept my voice neutral. I owe you an apology." I sat down slowly. Henry moved closer, listening. "I thought you were being taken advantage of," Sarah continued. "That woman from the casino, the whole legal process. I thought it was too complicated, too risky. You said we were wasting our time." "I know." A long exhale. "I was wrong. You knew what you were doing." Tears pricked my eyes. "We had help. Good help." "The lawyer?" "And Elise, the casino employee who first reached out. The one I told you not to trust." "Yes." Silence stretched between us. "I'm sorry, Mum. I should have supported you instead of—" "You were worried about us," I said gently. "I understand that. Still, you fought this whole thing without family backup. That wasn't fair." Henry squeezed my hand. "We're okay, Sarah. Really." "I know you are." Her voice cracked slightly. "You always were stronger than I gave you credit for." After we hung up, I sat quietly with Henry. "She'll come around," he said. "Maybe." I leaned against him. But we already proved what we needed to prove. To ourselves. To everyone. I thought of Elise's careful notes, Rachel's fierce advocacy, the gaming board official who'd actually read our evidence. That we matter, that our voices count. Henry kissed my temple. "They always did. Now other people know it too." The next morning, Elise appeared at our door with coffee and pastries. "I got written recognition from management," she said, eyes bright, "for assisting with patron advocacy and regulatory compliance. It's going in my employment file." "That's wonderful," I hugged her impulsively. She hugged back, fierce and quick. "They're creating a new protocol," she added, "for handling disputes. They want me to help develop it." Henry beamed. "Sounds like a promotion." "Sounds like things changing," Elise said, "because you two refused to back down." We sat together in the living room, drinking coffee, sharing pastries, talking about small victories and unexpected allies. Outside, morning light filtered through the curtains. The same suburban street, the same modest house, but something fundamental had shifted. We'd stood up, been heard, won, and we hadn't done it alone. The check arrived 2 weeks later. I stared at it on our kitchen table. The official casino letterhead, the formal apology from management, the amount that made my hands shake. $73,000. It's real, Henry said quietly. I touched the paper with one fingertip, half expecting it to vanish. All this time, part of me wondered if we'd imagined the whole thing. The machine lit up. The numbers were clear. I know. I swallowed hard. But doubt creeps in, doesn't it? When everyone tells you you're wrong. He covered my hand with his. Not everyone. No, not everyone. Elise had believed us from the start. We invited her over that afternoon. She arrived in jeans and a sweater, hair pulled back, looking younger than usual without her casino uniform. I made coffee, I said, gesturing to the kitchen. And cookies, Henry added. The good ones. Elise smiled, settling into the chair that had become hers over the past months. You didn't have to. We wanted to. I sat across from her, Henry beside me. We have something to discuss. Her expression shifted, cautious. Okay. I slid the check across the table, along with a second document I'd prepared that morning. The jackpot came through, I said. Officially awarded with the casino's apology on record. Elise's eyes widened. Margaret, that's... Congratulations. You deserve every penny. We want you to have part of it. She froze. What? 20%, Henry said firmly. $14,600. No. Elise shook her head quickly. No, I can't. I didn't do this for money. We know. I kept my voice steady. That's exactly why you should accept it. I was just helping. It was the right thing to do. And you risked your job doing it. I leaned forward. You spent nights researching gaming regulations, organized our evidence, connected us with Rachel Torres. You stood between us and the casino's lawyers when they tried to intimidate us. You gave us your time and your expertise, Henry added, without expecting anything in return. Elise's eyes glistened. You're my friends. That's all I wanted. Something warm bloomed in my chest. Friends, family. The lines had blurred somewhere along the way. Please, I said softly, let us do this. She looked down at the document, a formal agreement I'd drafted, stating the gift clearly for tax purposes, acknowledging her contribution. I don't know what to say. Say yes, Henry suggested gently. A tear slipped down her cheek. She wiped it quickly, then laughed, a wet, surprised sound. You're both stubborn, you know that. Runs in the family, I said, and watched her expression shift. Family. We'd become that, hadn't we? The three of us, forged through crisis and trust and late-night phone calls. Elise reached across the table and took both our hands. Thank you, she whispered, for trusting me, for letting me be part of this. Thank you for seeing us, I said. Really seeing us, when the casino just saw inconvenient old people. I never saw that. Her grip tightened. I saw two people fighting for what was right. Later, after Elise left, check and agreement carefully tucked in her bag, Henry and I sat together on the porch. Evening settled around us, familiar and quiet. We went from invisible to validated in 3 months, I said. We were never invisible. Henry rocked slowly. Just unheard. Not anymore. He smiled. No, not anymore. My phone buzzed. A text from Sarah. Can we visit this weekend? I'd like to meet Elise properly, and maybe hear the whole story. I showed Henry the screen. Progress, he said. Slow progress. I typed a careful response. Yes. Sunday lunch, perfect. Love you, Mum. Love you too. I set the phone down, thinking about the journey, those first, overwhelming moments on the casino floor, the shock and humiliation when the cage came down, the dark nights when I'd wondered if we were fools chasing impossible justice. We'd been afraid, skeptical of help, exhausted by the process, but we'd also been relentless, and we'd learned something crucial. You don't have to fight alone. We built something, didn't we? I said quietly. More than just winning the money. Henry nodded. We built trust, with someone who needed it as much as we did. Elise, estranged from her own family, searching for connection and purpose. Us, dismissed by our children, hungry for respect and agency. An unlikely trio. An unconventional family, but family nonetheless. I'm proud of us, I said. Me too. Henry took my hand. We didn't just reclaim the jackpot, we reclaimed ourselves. 3 weeks after settlement, I woke to sunlight and Henry humming off-key downstairs. I stretched, feeling familiar shoulder aches, but also something new, a lightness I hadn't carried in years. We'd won. Not just the money, safely allocated between savings, repairs, and adventures. Something bigger, respect, agency, the knowledge we could fight and succeed. Downstairs, Henry flipped through a riverboat tour brochure. Morning, coffee's fresh. You're chipper. We're going on a cruise, 2 nights, Delta paddle wheeler. Elise found it online. I poured coffee. When? Next month. Already booked. I raised an eyebrow. Without asking? You would have said yes. He was right. Months ago, I would have hesitated over cost or logistics. Now, I wanted to go. Fine, but I'm picking excursions. Deal. The morning felt different now, intentional, like we'd reclaimed our right to dream. My phone buzzed. Elise. Still on for lunch Sunday? Absolutely. Henry's making pot roast. Elise had become family. Sunday lunches, weeknight dinners, meandering phone calls. She'd used her share to fix her car and enroll in business management classes. Maybe she'd open her own consulting firm, helping people navigate bureaucratic nightmares. I believed she would. Think Sarah will actually show up? Henry asked. She said so. I kept my tone neutral. We'll see. Our daughter had been tentative, apologetic in fits, defensive in others, struggling with us succeeding without her. But she was trying. Michael called, asked if we needed tax help, Henry said. And I told him we handled it. How'd he take that? Surprised, maybe impressed. Henry shrugged. Baby steps? Small, persistent acts that accumulated into something undeniable. We'd learned to trust our judgment, demand fairness, accept unexpected help. Family didn't always mean blood. Sunday arrived warm and clear. Elise appeared at noon with a bakery box. Pot roast smells amazing. Henry's been fussing all morning, I said. I heard that, Henry called. Elise laughed, setting down lemon bars. Your favorite. We ate together, trading stories, Elise's casino frustrations, Henry's garage door battle, my victory over a stubborn rosebush. Ordinary moments, comfortable rhythms. Sarah arrived halfway through dessert. Elise greeted her warmly, and gradually the tension eased. "Mom," Sarah said as we cleared plates, "I'm sorry I doubted." You." I paused. "I know. I should have trusted you." "We didn't always know what we were doing," I admitted, "but we learned." "You're tougher than I realized." "Not tougher, just unwilling to be dismissed." Understanding flickered in her eyes. "I get that now." Not complete reconciliation, those take time, but progress. Later, after Sarah left, the three of us sat on the porch watching evening arrive. "This feels like home," Elise said softly. Henry squeezed her hand. "It is home, for all of us." I looked at my husband of 52 years and the young woman who'd become our daughter in every way that mattered. Contentment, purpose, connection. We'd walked into that casino searching for excitement. We'd found our voices, our strength, our family. We'd proven that age doesn't equal invisibility. Persistence outlasts intimidation. And sometimes the most powerful rebellion is refusing to be erased. "So," Henry said, "who's ready for a riverboat cruise?" Elise's eyes lit up. "You're actually going?" "We're actually going," I confirmed. "And you're coming with us." "Margaret, non-negotiable," Henry said. "Family trip." Elise's smile could have powered the neighborhood. "Okay. Yes." We sat together as twilight deepened, three people who'd fought bureaucracy and one who'd chosen each other deliberately. The jackpot had changed our lives, not because of the money, but because of what we'd built. Trust forged in crisis, family formed through choice, and the quiet knowledge we would never again let anyone cage us.